Luka Doncic has a prime opportunity to win the Dallas Mavericks their second NBA title after finishing off the Thunder in 6 games. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Indiana Pacers are coming off of Game 7 victories, rounding out the final 4 NBA teams as we predict and preview the NBA Conference Finals.
We're officially down to the final 4 teams of the NBA playoffs. The conference finals starting today. Before we continue, though, we gotta say a massive thank you and a shout out. We're officially YouTube partnered.
Yeah, YouTube finally accepted us.
But yeah, no, this couldn't have been done without you guys. As we said, we had 500 subscribers last month. We took a little bit of time to do the application, but it got through now. Yeah, we're officially YouTube partnered. We ain't going anywhere. Road to 1,000 continues. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and like this video. Follow all our socials, like we said, because we're gonna now start doing some membership stuff, I guess. Just keep an eye out, right? Just hit the subscribe button and you guys will always be notified of what happens, whether it be community post or follow the socials through Twitter, Instagram, or etc. But once again, just a massive thank you to everybody, and we're gonna keep going. And let's get right into it today. We are in the final 4, but we also had 2 Game 7s that happened. So let's very quickly go over those, and then we'll talk about the conference final matchups. Bittersweet though, because it's like, but in a way, good for us. Less games to cover, but it's like, the season is officially dwindling down and eventually coming to an end in a couple of weeks.
I mean, it's not that depressing. The one thing you look about the NBA and NHL season coming to an end is that it's going to be summer.
That too. That's the only bright side.
It's like, that's when you start playing basketball yourself. That's when you start playing hockey outside yourself. Road hockey, not ice hockey, obviously. And overall, that's why I never feel depressed when the seasons are coming to an end, because of I could start playing the sport.
No, that's true as well. But in terms of actually watching it, that's where it's like the fact.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. Because when you watch games like Game 7s, starting off with the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, and the absolute shooting masterclass the Pacers put up, which is 70+% field goal percentage.
I think it was 67.
Where they were at one point, I think at halftime they were at 76%. Yeah. And they ended off as something crazy. And they just never looked back. And like you said, Siakam's got to step up. Honestly, he didn't even need to step up.
Well, no,
the whole team just played and balled out.
Post-game, he did say, listen, the reporter asked him, listen, you're the one of the few guys on the roster, at least the one guy that plays, that experienced Game 7 at a high level, won a championship, all that. He's like, yeah, I just told the guys this is what the emotions are going to be like. He's on the road as well, so there's a little different factor there, because his one Game 7 was in the bubble, and his other Game 7 was at home, from the top of my head, that he was a big part of, right?
Yeah.
And but outside of that, he's like elimination game. He's been part of elimination games before, but yeah, he's just ride with the emotion and just play with it. Obviously he started off aggressive. He said, I needed to start off aggressive because I'm been there and done that to get everybody going. Tyrese Haliburton had his moments as well, just making plays. And like you said, everybody just shot the ball well. So yeah, shout out Indiana Pacers. This was their plan, fast-paced transition. But even when they get scored on, it's just 2 passes, boom, bucket. Whether it be a pull-up 3, whether it be just a transition layup off that, it's just the way they play.
The ball movement is just insane for the Indiana Pacers. Even if it's a half-court offense, they're moving the ball. There's no real ISO playing. There's no real ISO plays happening on the Pacers' offensive end. It's just straight ball movement and get a bucket. But let's give credit to the Pacers, and they obviously executed their simple defensive game plan, honestly, because it's to the fact that me and you had it figured out as well. Double team Jalen Brunson and make anyone else handle/score the ball.
So OG Anunoby did come out. Now you're gonna be like, oh, you picked OG Anunoby. If OG Anunoby plays, you're gonna pick the Knicks. I'm still taking credit because he only played 5 minutes. All right. He played.
He wasn't healthy, man.
Yeah, he got a few tough baskets, but after that he didn't play. Right. It was when Anthony Davis tried playing against the Suns in that game.
He can't play on that hamstring.
And that game, I think it was a hamstring for him, as well. But yeah, I just want to double check. I'm pretty sure I saw him sub out. I did.
Yeah, so overall, that was a game plan because he put Foreman. Brunson is their main scorer, and you got to get the ball out of their hands. Obviously, OG stretching the floor, he is not there, which kind of ruins that a little bit. You still had DiVincenzo, who went off for 3 especially. And
DiVincenzo had 39 points. Josh Hart was not playing.
Josh Hart was hobbled.
Yeah, but going.
Then obviously when led to it even worse Jalen Brunson was out.
Yeah, so
at the end of the game.
in a way, I'm happy the Pacers went through because at least we'll get like a healthy matchup against the Celtics, even though we believe that it's the Celtics series to lose. But going back to the Knicks, yeah, like shout out to them. Like what they did all year in general was insane. The game plan obviously on Jalen Brunson worked in a sense. Like I don't know what part was he got hurt. I forget it was like him trying to block Tyrese or the other way around where his hand went up against it. So it's more of a freak thing as well. But it could be, and it was just also tired body parts. I guess that's the best way to put it because a lot of that team has been playing 40-minute plus games, and like Mitchell Robinson went out, OG Anunoby went out, Josh Hart went out last game and played Hobbs.
So when you look at the injuries, you got Brunson, Hart, Anunoby, Randall, and Robinson. That's a full-out
Bojan Bogdanovic
starting lineup right there. That's legit your starting lineup. That's
and then add Bojan Bogdanovic.
Then you add
deadline piece.
Then you add Bogdanovic, and that's it, right? Yeah, and just Bogdanovic, yeah.
Yeah. So
all these guys got injured for you. But shout out goes to Alec Burks as well. He did the next man up mentality. I thought personally he should have been playing a lot more because I do think he's a good value depth piece. But when his number was called, he started playing well as well. He started playing well, and I also thought that was an underrated aspect of the trade that they made. I think he came from the Pistons as well with Bogdanovic as well.
Again, I'm going to ask you this question. How much is it on Tom Thibodeau because he just plays his guys way too much from the beginning of the year?
All right, so OG's
that one kind of makes sense.
Is on Tom Thibodeau. Josh Hart's on Tom Thibodeau. Not Brunson. Brunson was just a contact.
Oh, Brunson's this one, yeah, but
obviously. But if he was playing, he was playing at the end of the day, right? You got to be fully out, and OG was fully out. Like there was no chance that I thought OG was going to play. I was surprised he even suited up. And yeah, so Brunson, I don't blame him. Everyone else is Tibbs.
Okay, yeah. So it's just like we know that's what we expected from him. So we can't say we feel sorry for the Knicks that sense, only because we know what Thibodeau's history is. We feel sorry for the Knicks that they got hurt. Don't get me wrong, like no one wants to see them injured because we believe that like this Knicks team, if healthy, not including Julius Randle because he was out before the playoffs, but if this current playoff team was healthy, they could have given the Celtics a run for their money defensively because they would have had the pieces. So that's why, in a way, I'm just glad that the Pacers. Obviously, I was hoping still for a close game, but there were moments where it became close, and then the Pacers, shout out to them. They just widened the gap a little bit more, and then Rick Carlisle is an experienced coach. Like I said, that right, he's been a championship coach. He knows what it takes to just come out of this moment as well, because he is the one guy that, yes, along with Dirk Nowitzki, beat the Heatles, right? Like the first year the LeBron, Wade, Chris Bosh, big three went down. So he knows what it takes to win big time games, and yeah, so shout out goes to Rick Carlisle as well. Gets the best out of the team. And yeah, we'll talk about the conference finals in a second, but the Knicks, nothing much to let's just quickly talk about them to close it out here. Yeah, nothing much to improve really, just health and maybe just add another scorer.
Add a scorer. Just add a scorer.
Julius Randle's gonna be
obviously re-sign OG.
Yeah,
that's big. That's big because the fit was there. The fit was absolutely amazing. You have an identity. Right, you're not in an identity crisis like the other playoff teams might have, like the Lakers, who are on an identity crisis.
Yeah,
essentially, the Knicks have everything else. I think they're just one solid scorer away.
And Paul George is a sneaky target there, from what I saw recently as well, which fits
good fit, yeah.
But then there's another wing, another guard scorer could help as well. But like I said, they have
Paul George could play shooting.
True,
he can
or power forward if you want to get rid of Julius Randle as well.
But no, I think OG will slide over if that's the case.
But Paul George is 6'9". That's the only reason why I'm saying
it'll be OG sliding over. It'll be Paul George at the 3, Josh Hart at the 2. Then you have Brunson, obviously.
And you still have Dante. So, yeah. So they have trade piece like Julius Randle could be a trade piece, like I said, just because of the contract situation. And I don't like even when he did play the playoffs before, he wasn't like totally the greatest guy there, right? We know what Jalen Brunson is. He's practically put himself in superstar category, especially in this playoffs. We'll see if that continues on next year. But yeah, the Knicks, and the other reason why the Knicks just should not need to worry, outside of their coach not playing the depth pieces, trusting them a little bit more, is they have a lot of assets for trade pieces as well. So
yeah,
hypothetically, if someone becomes disgruntled and available in the offseason, which there seems to be a bunch of people, you could go out and get those guys and add smaller pieces, because like I said, outside of Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson is the only one that's getting paid a lot of money.
All right.
Jalen Brunson's going to stay there.
Speaking of disgruntled, Michael Malone was very disgruntled in his press conference and was not happy at all. And honestly, nor should he be, because the Denver Nuggets blew a 20-point halftime lead to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the reigning defending champions are no more in these playoffs. And the Timberwolves defense has stepped up once again.
Yeah, they were horrendous in the first half. They were like 38 points at halftime, something like that. Everybody was like calling out Rudy Gobert to get out, and Anthony Edwards was dreadful himself. Like I was ready to say like maybe he ain't there yet. Maybe one more year before he becomes that actual superstar, because Game 7 makes big time moments. He stepped up in the second half. Yes, his shooting splits weren't the greatest, but Karl Anthony Towns has stepped up. Like I said, he was the one I was looking at because he was the one that struggled a couple of those games in this series. But overall history of him in the playoffs was never the greatest as well, similar to Julius Randle. But he stepped up. Again, the only issue I have with Karl Anthony Towns is like stop taking dumb fouls and putting yourself in foul trouble like you always do in every game. But he emerged, right? And other side, Jamal Murray, first half was amazing, but not amazing second half as well. And it became a lot of Jokic. Obviously he was fine, but like it became a lot of Jokic Murray duo plays rather than making set plays for other players like they always did. And yeah,
it was a lot of Jokic Murray. They did their part at the end of the day. You know, they both dropped 30 plus. They both shot at 50%, maybe just under. And I was looking at, you know, who's going to be the third scorer, right? That was my main key for Game 7, because I knew Murray was going to do his thing. Murray's a clutch player. He did his thing in Game 7. He showed up at, like, you know, obviously it might not have been at the second half where he wanted it more. But at the end of the day, Murray dropped what he usually drops.
35.
Jokic did what he usually does.
Or at 19 and 7.
Who was going to be that third scorer?
No,
everyone else was in single digits.
Yeah, no one else in this case, right? Michael Porter Jr. struggled 3 for 12 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3. Aaron Gordon was a little, like, that was the guy you said.
I thought Aaron Gordon would be the guy, yeah.
He wasn't aggressive at all when he had the ball. He just kept dishing it out. In the second half, when they make that run, Caldwell Pope did a 2 for 7 himself. Christian Braun, not so much. Justin Holiday and Reggie Jackson barely played. So, you're right. But at the end of the day, I don't know how you let your defense do that, because, like I said, they only got 38 points at half, 19 and 19 in each quarter. So, and then they ended up getting 28 and then 32. Once Rudy Gobert hit that weird fadeaway turnaround shot, I was like, yeah, it's over. Like, even if that took the lead or whatever it was, I'm like, yeah, they're going to win it. There's no way, like, Rudy Gobert hits that shot. The guy who's getting criticized every game for lack of clutch defense in the playoffs. Like, he can't play defense in the playoffs. He's a regular season player.
He hit a clutch shot.
He hit a clutch shot. And, like, yeah, he wasn't the greatest in the first half either, but at the end of the day, he did what needs to be done. And then you got, like I said, you're talking about a step up. McDaniel stepped up once again.
Yeah, McDaniel is just that guy. He's going to defend. But when he gives you on offensive production, it's very difficult to beat this Timberwolves team when he's dropping that many points as well.
And then
but the funny part is that Anthony Edwards was 6 of 24. He was held under 20 points.
Yeah.
Every time that has happened, the Timberwolves lost.
Yeah.
So
this
all credit goes to Towns, all credit goes to McDaniels and the others stepping up around Anthony Edwards. And yeah, the biggest issue for Nuggets this game was what the hell happened to their defense, because, you know, your star player showed up at the end of the day. They got you a 20-point lead, right?
And then Anthony Towns got fouled out. Not fouled out, got fifth foul.
And Gobert got fouled out.
No, I meant to say Karl Anthony Towns got his fifth foul and subbed out, bringing sixth man of the year, Naz Reid. He only had 11 points, but some of those points were big.
Good off the bench.
Good defensive block on Jokic on one end, and then got like and one calls or foul calls and hit those shots as well.
Yeah, Naz Reid he's proven why he's the sixth man of the year. Got his points, and yeah, he defended Jokic well. When I was watching, I'm like, yeah, Jokic was just exhausted. He was tired.
He was settling a lot in the
second. Yeah, he started settling because he was 2 for 10 exhausted. 3. Yeah, 2 for 10 for 3 is not a good percentage for Jokic. It's not that many shots that Jokic even takes, first of all. And overall, again, Nuggets 3-point shooting and their defense did let them down, because, like, how do you allow 60 points and a half? You just can't.
Yeah.
Right? You can't, especially when you allow 30 in the first half, especially when Anthony Edwards is 6 of 24. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity for the Denver Nuggets. That's all I'm going to say. Even though it may not, like, you know, hurt them as much, people might not care because they already won one. And, like, you know, with this crew as well. But overall, they could have went back to back, and they honestly, they blew this opportunity.
Going back to the Minnesota Timberwolves, did you know this was Mike Conley's first Game 7 win?
No, I did not.
See, apparently he was 0 for 4 in the past. They asked Anthony Edwards, you want to win this for Mike Conley? Anthony Edwards was like, nah, I want to win for myself, which is fair. He just said it as a joke. Obviously, he's like, listen, he never played with me before, so obviously if I win, he's going to win that way. But like, yeah, no Mike Conley, obviously, Jokic came out like he was class. He's like, listen, look at their team. They have two defensive player of the year caliber players. You have Anthony Edwards, who's an emerging superstar in this league. You got a steady force in Mike Conley. You had another all-star in Karl Anthony Towns. Plus, they just had a good coaching, right? And that assistant coach, I don't know how much he did behind the scenes. At least during the game, it's more. I could say it's a lot of him.
Yeah.
Lakers are looking at him, and the Denver coach. I hope that they do take one of those guys, because a lot of credit goes out to them, because because like he obviously had to make the in-game decisions. Yes, Chris Finch was sitting there, so I'm sure he was in his ear a lot too, to say this, do that. But like sometimes you just gotta he's not, Chris Finch is sitting there. He's on by the scorers table sometimes, so he's gonna be relaying information that way.
Yeah, obviously, like he deserves a lot of credit as well.
But for Denver,
it's simple. Run it back
and maybe add a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
That could actually like
trade for Bruce Brown.
Yeah, because he is up for trade. Your squad.
He's being like $20 million though. That's the thing.
I don't think they'll be able to.
They won't be able to.
So yeah, no, like mostly they could run it back. I would just say add a little bit more depth will be good.
Like Jokic is still Jokic. Murray is still Murray. Your starting lineup has a good balance in terms of scoring, rebounding, and defense. And yeah, just add a couple depth pieces here and there. But overall, like your identity, your main core is still there. And you're set. Just run it back, and it was just a missed opportunity. Credit goes to Timberwolves.
Oh, a lot of it does.
A lot of it does, but the Nuggets blew it at the end of it. That's the big storyline I'm taking away from the Game 7.
Yeah. So the other series that finished, let's talk about it very quickly. I know in the last episode we did talk about them. But like we both predicted, I believe, Dallas in 6. It ended up being Dallas in 6. It was very close to being a Game 7, though. It would have been happening today. I believe as we're tomorrow for us as we're doing this, but shout out goes to Shea once again. It's just a young squad. He needs help getting stepped up, and unfortunately, Chet and J-Dub, a lot happened with that way, because on the other side, you had Luka and you had Kyrie Irving, and they both stepped up immensely in that game. That helped them come back, and they ended up winning by a 1-point game. It was a very questionable end to the game, though.
It's a foul.
But Shea came out and said it. Everybody arguing on Twitter. At the time, I'm like, should have not been called. But Shea said that he fouled him. I should not have fouled him.
At the end of the day, like the guy's shooting and he hit him in the arm. It's a foul, right? It's a soft call, yes. But like the one thing in basketball is that's gonna be a foul regardless. Doesn't matter if it's soft or not. Like if it's like a charge or offensive foul, that's like different story.
Yeah.
Right. If it's like that's what okay, that's a soft call. But like at the end of the day, a little tap on the arm. It's going to be called every time if you're in the shooting position, which PJ Washington was shooting.
For me, it wasn't even their offense really that bad, because J-Dub dropped 22 and Chet dropped 21 on good shooting splits as well. I guess their defense let them down, because there's no way that Derrick Jones Jr. should be having 22 points, right?
Now Luka dropped like what? 30?
Luka dropped 29 and Kyrie dropped 22. Those are fair, but like he dropped 22. PJ Washington was.
So when you're looking at it, like what was the final score?
By 117, 116.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
so for a team that's pretty good on defense.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is kind of a lot for a playoff game.
Well, bro, yeah, like I said, they're gonna win because if they win this title, it's gonna be because of their defense, and that's what costed them in Game 6 overall. Again, J-Dub and Chet Holmgren are rookie playoff performers, and we expect
Chet in general is a rookie.
Yeah, Chet in general is a rookie, and overall, Shea proved that he could carry, and he kind of almost did in this series where he single-handedly almost took his 7 games.
Blessing in disguise for us, Shea and Jamal Murray will be healthy enough to play for Team Canada, baby.
That's it.
And
that's the real game plan.
That's the real game plan. But no, going back to this, like I said, we never thought they were going to win this year. There's a reason why they were our underdog pick. They were our favorites to win it. And we dropped a video for a reason, that they will probably win a championship by the end of this decade, right? And the trajectory they're on, they hopefully develop some players, maybe add a few, because you still have Kaysen Wallace who will develop. He was a rookie himself, all rookie second team officially for him. Chet was all rookie first team this year. And then like, you have trade pieces. Like if there is someone available, go get them. If not, just run it back next year. You might have a team.
You have the luxury to run it back.
Yeah.
And you have the luxury to buy someone.
Exactly. But yeah, let's move on to the conference final matchups. Starting off with the East again.
Indiana Pacers are heading to the Boston Celtics. This game is starting today. And yeah, let's just say this. The Celtics should win.
Yeah.
Right? We said it a lot. They should win. And
should win the title. Let's just say that.
They had a cakewalk, right? They rolled through Miami. They rolled through the Cleveland Cavaliers. Whereas the Indiana Pacers are coming off a 6-game series and a 7-game series, both against injured teams in the Milwaukee Bucks and the New York Knicks. So when you're looking at those storylines, the Pacers are lucky to be here too a little bit.
Yeah, no,
right.
Sure.
That is.
They capitalized on it.
But they capitalized on it. Yeah, I'm not blaming him for that.
Yeah,
they are lucky to be here at the end of the day. And yeah, Celtics they have the best starting 5 of the 4 remaining playoff teams, but the Indiana Pacers have the best depth of the 4 remaining playoff teams. So it's gonna be a Celtics in 5. I'm just gonna straight up say,
yeah.
Because Pascal Siakam is gonna struggle in the series. I already know that the Boston Celtics are so good defensively. Like Siakam's gonna get locked up. Haliburton's gonna get locked up. Like you have Drew Holiday on Haliburton, right? We've seen Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, combined and like absolutely lock down Pascal Siakam. Right? Your 2 aggressors are not gonna play good in terms of matchups and in terms on paper. So off of that, it's already over.
By the way, the green isn't because we're rooting for the Celtics here. By the way, we just did it because it's a nice color to have in the background. I just want to clear that out of the way.
Yeah. I'm just.
Okay, I'll say my prediction. I'll say why. Then we have another stuff to talk about as a whole of the 4 remaining teams / the 2 games that are gonna happen, the series that are gonna happen. I'm gonna go Celtics in 6, and the reason why, I agree with everything you said, but the Celtics showed a tendency to slow down, be complacent in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is a team you cannot be complacent in the playoffs with because if you're just slow running back, they will just get a bucket easily. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, and we saw that happen in Game 7 in the biggest moment away at Madison Square Garden. Yes, I agree with you that it's going to be a tough series for Pascal Siakam because he always struggles against the Celtics in general.
He just did.
Maybe he'll play more free. Who knows?
But yeah, like when you see Siakam and the Celtics just have a good game plan on him every time.
And then on top of that, Tyrese Haliburton hasn't been in the aggressive scorer. He's more of that playmaker. So unfortunately, if Pascal gets locked up, the key is going to be Miles Turner in this series, and you have Al Horford for that. Because he's a very good defender himself. The good news for the Pacers is Porzingis is out, so that helps them out a little bit. But the reason why I'm going in 6 is because, listen, the Pacers team did not show any defeat, especially in the Knicks series. They were down 2-0. Yes, they were going home, but I'm saying that they could have easily been like, oh, damn, this Knicks team is all over us, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they beat injured teams that took over that. The Celtics got lucky that Donovan Mitchell got hurt the last 2 games. The way they played the last 2 games, even if Donovan Mitchell came back and dropped 30, I'm saying that it's very easy, but Donovan Mitchell could just drop 20 to 30. They could have pushed that to 6, right? Yes, the Cavs are a better defensive team, even though they did not have Jared Allen, but they were a better defensive team than this Pacers team. But give credit where it's due. This Pacers team made the Knicks struggle. Yes, it helps that your other players are injured, but they still, even the Bucks, they made them struggle a little bit. Right, Dame was injured later on, but I'm just saying they made them struggle a little bit. Here, we've seen Jayson Tatum have not so great moments in the playoffs. As good as he is, and I believe he is a superstar, and he will win a championship. It should be this year, but I will not be surprised if they steal 2. But I don't think it's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be 1-0, 1-1, 3-1, 3-2, and then they'll close it out in 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, so the biggest question mark for me is just what type of Celtics are we going to get. If we're going to get that dominant Celtics, the series is over. It could be even a sweep. But again, they have shown that they have taken games off, aka Game 2 in Miami, against Miami, and Game 2 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they've responded well at the end of the day, right? They didn't make it, They made it a wake-up call. They didn't make it a concern type of thing. And
yeah,
so far, yes, they might not have been great in games 4 and 5. But overall, they did get the job done. They're here for a reason. They're rested. Porzingis should be back in the middle of the series, I believe, because of the Knicks series going 7 against the Pacers. And overall, I'm just saying that if the Celtics, they've shown that they responded, right? Obviously, the Pacers team's the toughest team they're gonna play so far and the healthiest. And it just, both teams are low-key kind of lucky because, Butler was injured in the first one, and then obviously Donovan Mitchell as well. But yeah, they've shown that, they responded, to poor performances. Game 2 was a poor performance. Game 2 against Miami was a poor performance. Yes, they responded with great performance right after, right? Are they perfect? Are they the Celtics that dominant Celtics we've seen all year? Probably not. But they find a way to get the job done, and I think that they're gonna have a bad game in the series.
Yeah.
But they're gonna respond, and they're gonna find a way to get that job done, right? I'm not saying the Celtics are gonna destroy every game. They're just not.
They should, but they're not.
They're not. That's not how they are. That's what they always do in the playoffs. They don't have that no mercy mentality. They allow teams to go back in it, and it's not like the Cavs and Celtics game were close. It wasn't back and forth. It was the Celtics were up, and the Cavs make a mini run and then make the score closer than it actually really was.
Yeah.
As well.
How much of out of 100% Pacers chance of winning this?
20.
So you're still going higher up in that sense.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 10 odds there. Yeah, I agree with that because I'm giving them 2 games, right? But like I said, I agree with everything you said. I'm just saying that we've seen them being complacent, and this team isn't injured. The other teams were injured. Now we'll see what happens during the playoffs, because in the first one, Jimmy Butler was out from the beginning, and then Donovan Mitchell was out, and that's the one where you were referring to where they made it closer than it should have been without Donovan Mitchell. So this one, you still have Pascal Siakam, you still have Tyrese Haliburton, Miles Turner. And then you have their depth scoring hasn't been the greatest. It has been pretty good, I mean. And then you have Rick Carlisle. I'll trust Rick Carlisle right now over Joe Mazzulla slightly. Just because Joe Mazzulla in the past has shown vulnerabilities a lot. But like you said, I feel like one game bad, they'll figure a way to figure it out.
And they've done that all playoffs long, and they're going to do it again. And we both agree Celtics should be in the NBA Finals. Moving on to the Western Conference Finals, the Mavericks are facing off the Timberwolves, the 3 seed versus the 5 seed, right? I know the NBA has been tough. I know the West has been tough. But when's the last time you see a 3 seed and a 5 seed? Or just a 5 seed in the Western Conference Final?
In the Western or a Conference Final in general?
Yeah, Conference Final in general.
I think the Heat in the bubble were like a 4 or 5 seed. I forget what.
Oh, Western Conference Final. Obviously, because
it's last year's Heat.
Last year's Heat.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I was just thinking that Western Conference. What was last year's?
It was
Nuggets, Lakers.
Oh yeah, they were a 7
seed. A bubble team. No, they were a play-in team.
Whatever. Oh, yeah. So, but this just shows how tough the West is.
Yeah.
Right, the 7 seed.
No one thinks the Lakers were gonna be this.
At the end of the day, the Lakers. I'm not labeling the Lakers as
point. The Nuggets were the 1 seed, I believe.
The Nuggets were the 1, but I'm not. I would say I wasn't labeling the Lakers as a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Right.
No. I get that.
But overall, let's just say that this Western Conference has been tough, and it's been tough all year. But now we got the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. And let's say this. If Rudy Gobert was getting, clowned on last series, he's going to get way more exposed this series because he's going to have no big man to guard, essentially.
Yeah.
And
you're also, which means you throw in Karl Anthony Towns in there. I mean, there will be a big man, right? One of Gafford or Lively.
Yeah, I know, but Rudy Gobert's impact in the series is going to be next to nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that because you have 2 of the best ISO players in the game.
Yeah.
2 of the clutch players in the game.
Yeah.
So Kyrie's going to cook him because he's one of the best skilled players in NBA history, right? You could throw him up with the Allen Iversons and all those guys in the world with the crossover handle, step back shot, mid-range, good layup package, everything. Offensively, he's one of the most skilled players.
Yeah, but it's just this, right? If Gobert's on the perimeter with Luka or Kyrie, it's lights out for Gobert. As simple as that.
Same thing with Towns.
Yeah, same thing with Towns too.
Same thing with Towns.
But the good news for the Timberwolves is you have a Mike Conley, is you have a Jaden McDaniels, and you have a Anthony Edwards, who all great defenders.
And off the bench, you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Kyle Anderson if he comes in.
And honestly, I respect Naz Reid's perimeter defense as well, because he is not a big man.
He's 6'10", I believe.
Yeah, so he's not even that big.
He's big.
He's big. Compared to me, he's way bigger. But compared to he's not Gobert. He could move his feet. He has that quickness that Gobert and Towns won't have.
Plus, you're gonna have Towns in foul trouble, and then Gobert might have foul trouble. So that, let alone right there, you're gonna have no big men like outside of Naz Reid possibly on the court.
Yeah, again, Timberwolves defense is incredible. Again, they match up well against the Mavericks in that sense, but there is a weakness, and that's going to be Rudy Gobert. And they're just not going to have, there's just no use for Gobert in terms of, his impact on the floor if he's going to keep on getting freaking pulled out to the perimeter. And against Luka or Kyrie, it's going to be lights out for him.
On the flip side, though, for Towns, I'm looking at specifically, because you could say Derrick Jones Jr. could go on Anthony Edwards to slow him down a little bit, and PJ Washington, whoever. Towns needs to cook in this.
He has to.
Because
he really does have
to. Derek Lively is good. Danny Gafford they're good, but they're going to have to step out of the perimeter as well. Right? I'm going to say Rudy Gobert is going to be borderline unplayable in this series, both offensively and defensively.
Well, especially defensively.
Right? At least him and Towns together on the court may not work in this series.
On the defensive side.
Even on the offensive side, though, because Towns could stretch the floor, Gobert's going to clog it. So if Towns wants to go in, he can't. Anthony Edwards, he's at least athletic enough to do that. But going back to it, and if they are on the court together, it's going to be PJ Washington on Towns. Right? Towns should have that matchup. I don't care. He is a skilled big man.
Yeah.
He needs to play like he did in this Game 7 all 7 games. I think it's going to go 7.
If we do get that Towns, right, the Timberwolves should win the series. Like, it should be lights out for the Mavericks in that sense. But obviously, you're not going to count out Luka and Kyrie.
For sure.
This team goes as far as Luka as Kyrie goes. But when you look at the depth, when you look at the other players, the role players, we've seen McDaniel step up. We've seen Conley step up. And obviously, Conley has his role of leadership and facilitating. On the other side, we've seen Derrick Jones step up. We've seen PJ Washington step up, especially in the last series as well. And we've seen Derek Lively or Gafford, one of those.
Lively especially stepped up last.
Yeah, more so Lively, step up. And also Tim Hardaway Jr. had gotten some minutes. At the beginning of the Thunder series, he was, wasn't getting any minutes. And to the point, he was actually playable. And he was contributing. And it's going to rely on, they're just going to have to make sure that three-point shooting is cooking. That is number one. Especially from all the role players. And number 2, Jason Kidd and this Mavericks team defense has just been absolutely incredible this playoffs. And they're going to have to find a way to slow down Edwards and Towns because Towns has a good matchup here.
The good news with them is that they both have shown vulnerabilities in the playoffs.
Yes.
Right? Because Edwards, like, as much elite as he was, he's had his highs, but he's had his lows. Game 7 was a low for him. And it would have been we would have been talking, if it wasn't for the Denver collapse in the second half, we would have been having a whole different discussion right now about Anthony Edwards in terms of Game 7, right? Like, again, big players step up in big moments. He did. Like, at the end of the day, he had small moments, but they were magnified because he hit that big 3. He had that steal that led to a dunk and all that, right? But yeah, no, going back to this, this is a 7-gamer for me. I don't know about you. For me, it's a 7-gamer. It's tough for me to predict because on one side you have the offensive firepower of Luka and Kyrie, and the other side you have the defensive firepower in the Timberwolves. But if I were to give my prediction, and then this is the series where Derek Lively will be more needed, even more than the last one. Give me the Nuggets in 7 because I still think that it's gonna
Nuggets.
Sorry. The Mavericks in 7.
I'm getting Doncic and Jokic confused.
No. It's just like the Nuggets were in my mind. And
obviously, the Nuggets are still in my mind, too.
Yeah. But Mavericks in 7 because I feel like the way Luka's now, he's been playing better as the series went along. He's been a little bit more efficient as well. Yeah, he had his moments, but he's still dropping triple-doubles, 20-plus point triple-doubles as well. For me, Kyrie needs to be
more of a scorer.
More of a scorer this time. Yes, be the hot hand if Luka's the hot hand, or if it's PJ Washington or whatever. But like I need Kyrie to be what he did in Game 6, and be a little bit more of that scorer, and then maybe take it on himself. That like, hey, I need to get us a clutch bucket. That's his job. He'll be able to get it right. Again, their game plan is gonna be get one of those bigs on the perimeter, and then they're gonna cook. He's gonna cook them. Literally, he's gonna cook.
Yeah, that's how it just works. For me, I have been picking against the Timberwolves the whole time in this playoffs, and I'm gonna stop now. I'm going with the Timberwolves in 7, and reason being, I do believe Karl-Anthony Towns will have his moments in this series, Obviously, Anthony Edwards, we already know enough about him. And I just think this is a better defensive team than the OKC Thunder. This is a better defensive team than the Los Angeles Clippers. And this is going to be the toughest matchup for Luka. This is going to be the toughest matchup for Kyrie, right? Even though Lou Dort is incredible. But the thing is this Timberwolves team as a whole roster is just, so good defensively. Like bench, starters, big man, no big man, whatever it is, interior, perimeter, top to bottom, these guys can defend. So that overall, I just think that's going to be a big factor there. And obviously, Luka has shown his inconsistency as field goal percentage goes, the 3-point field goal percentages as well. And then my criticism for Kyrie was that he might have been too patient in some of these games that the Thunder did win. But overall, it's going 7 games. I'm going with the Timberwolves. It's going to be tight. It's just like, I just feel like sometimes when you see these offensive firepower versus a defensive juggernaut, right? Even in the NFL and all sports, usually the defensive team wins.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. That's what I was talking
about. That's what I'm going to rock with here. And otherwise, I really did want to pick Dallas. I really did.
Rocking with because you're a Luka guy.
Exactly.
I am rocking with more of the experience side of things as well. Kyrie, again, been there, done that. And he isn't being Brooklyn Kyrie, right? He actually is being a proper leader for these guys, right? And same thing with Luka. I feel like Luka is a chip on his shoulder. Like I said, like we said before, before the playoffs even started, that this is going to be the most dangerous team in the playoffs, in our opinion. And we'll see, but I want to give a huge shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves fan base here. You guys finally have a team in the Timberwolves to root for that have made the conference finals. Last time that happened was KG's MVP year in 2004. Since then, it's been like, I think Kat and Edwards were joking around in post-game media that they were saying like, man, this franchise has been losing for 20 years. I've been losing for 9 years. And Edwards is just joking around about that. So it's like the fan base, I'm just happy for you guys. And yeah, well deserved, right? You finally got a superstar guy player. You have a proper team. Chris Finch / I forget the other guy's name, the coach's name as well. But have done a great leadership and have held people accountable. Anthony Edwards has come on and said like, hey, it's not just because I'm the star. He doesn't put me on the side. He says like, Kat, you can suck at this part. Do this better. Anthony Edwards says like, he'll say it to me as well. So it's not like it's everybody's even for him. So yeah, no, it's well deserved for them. The Minnesota fan base deserves this because the Wild haven't been anything crazy in the playoffs. The Vikings haven't been anything crazy in the playoffs. The Twins had their moments, but yeah. So it's finally a fun moment for the Minnesota fan base from there.
So looking at my predictions, I'm getting a Kevin Garnett bowl in the NBA Finals.
Probably.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I want to see where KG lies on that.
KG's like, I'm a Wolf Celtic, like a Wolf, whatever you wanna,
Wolf tick
or something like that.
But yeah, no, that's gonna be fun to see on his side of things. Cause like, yeah, I'm not like, if you had picked the Pacers, I'd be like, okay, you're crazy. But this one, I'm like, it's either or.
This one, yeah, it is either or.
Before we close it out here, let's do a couple of fun activities here, a couple of rankings. Start off with the easy one. Power rank these 4 teams. I guess it's
simple.
Yeah.
So since we already predicted our finals,
yeah,
we know our 1 and 2. Which is, for me, the Celtics and Timberwolves. For you, the Celtics,
Mavericks.
And Mavericks. Number 3, I am going to go with the Dallas Mavericks.
For me, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And number 4, yes, sorry Pacers fan, but it's the Pacers. Let's just be real here. They have, as much as, credit does go to the Indiana Pacers, they had a lucky playoff run as well. Whereas, we saw the Timberwolves be the better team against the Nuggets. We saw the Mavericks be the better team against the Clippers and the Thunder, right? Whereas the Pacers, we still question them. Like, at full health, what the Milwaukee Bucks would have won. At full health, maybe the Knicks would have won. Whereas the Mavericks, yes, Kawhi is injured. That's a different story. But in the second round, the Thunder were a fully healthy squad.
Honestly, it's not as easy as I thought it was. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, I'm still going Pacers 4, but like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, how many games for Pacers versus Timberwolves do you have? If they were in a 7-game series themselves.
Timberwolves my final.
But I'm just saying in general.
I would give it to Timberwolves.
But how much though? And how many games?
Probably 6, 5 or 6.
Pacers Mavericks?
No, not 5, 6. Pacers Mavericks again 6.
Yeah, so it's still gonna be. I feel like it still would be tough. Pacers Mavericks is a better like matchup for each team because of the offensive side of things. But yeah, no, yeah. So like I said, 4 Pacers, 3 Timberwolves, 2 Mavericks, 1 Celtics. Nothing crazy there. Okay, rank the finals matchups, potential final matchups.
Finals matchups, okay.
Both from your let's put it from for you. Like, what's fun for you?
I think
we know that Luka versus Tatum. Sorry, I'm cutting you off again. Luka Tatum is probably the media's choice. Or
I think Luka Tatum. I think Boston Mavericks will be the best one. I do think that.
I'm just saying in general, yeah.
And
I agree with that.
Now I'll probably go Boston, Minnesota.
Okay.
In terms of, then I'll probably go Actually, no, I'll go Pacers, Mavericks too.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, just because of offense. Then I'll go Boston, Minnesota for like if you're looking at defense.
And mix of everything.
And the last one will be Timberwolves, Pacers for me.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you on that one. So it's Mavericks, Celtics, Pacers, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Celtics, and then Pacers, Timberwolves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, couple more here. Let's go. Top 5 players left in the playoffs. So for just a pool.
So it's between. What are we basing this off?
Just the top 5 players. You want to do it in this playoffs?
Because I was thinking, I kind of made my list around in this playoffs, like this playoff performers.
Yeah, let's do that then. And then we'll do a couple. We're gonna do it very quick. So yeah, in this playoffs, who are your top 5 playoffs out of these 4 remaining teams? Yeah,
top 5 players. Yeah, okay. Where we gonna go 5-1?
Yeah.
Number 5, I'm gonna go with Pascal Siakam. Okay. He has been the trade deadline acquisition the Pacers wanted. He has shown up. He has took the leadership role. And when he needed to be the aggressor, he got his points. And I think he was every bit of advertised. He's the same Pascal Siakam he was in Toronto in 2019. He is still the same Pascal Siakam now. And he has produced for this Indiana Pacers team.
Are you going to keep going? Or just finish it.
Okay. Number 4. So here's the thing. I am not going to go double Celtics or anything just because the Celtics run has fairly a cakewalk and everyone has stepped up. But 4 is not a Celtics player. Number 4 for me is Kyrie Irving. He has, again, been that leader. He has taken a defensive leadership role as well. He has hustled. He has had impactful 12-point games. And overall, his facilitating has been incredible. He let Luka cook. He let Derrick Jones cook. He let PJ Washington cook. The reason why he's number 4 for me is because he has been too patient. He hasn't been the main scorer. He was in the second round. In the first round against Clippers, he was. But against the Thunder, he wasn't. And he's going to need to be that again. But Kyrie Irving is my number 4. Number 3, I am going with Jayson Tatum. Again, I have to respect the Celtics. I am giving the best player on the best team a lot of credit. And Jayson Tatum, at the end of the day, yes, it may have had a lot of quiet performances, but overall has, quietly had done his thing because nobody really has paid attention to the Celtics series. And for that reason, I would have had Derek White on this list if he did what he did against Miami.
Don't worry, I have a different list
against Cavaliers as well. But I'm just gonna give it to one Celtic just cause. That's why. And number 2 and 1 are obvious. I think it could go either or, but I am gonna go with Anthony Edwards at number 2. Again, incredible series against the Phoenix Suns. Another incredible performances against the Nuggets, especially games 1 and 2, and game 6 as well. And overall, he is proving that he could be a superstar in this league. He has, elevated his game in the playoffs defensively and offensively, and has added a 3-point added some 3-point shooting into his game. And overall, he's a scorer that wants the best defensive matchup, that wants the best offensive player to guard. And then number 1, Luka Doncic. He has cooked. He has been injured. He has been beaten, essentially, because this guy the type of run that Luka's on is incredible in terms of this guy is so hobbled. His back's in pain. His knees are in pain. His ankles in pain. And he's still out here hustling on defense, which we've never seen before, and out here getting 20, 30 points. Yes, he might not be efficient, but he's still getting his 20 to 30 points every night. And obviously, as the playoffs has went on, he has become more and more efficient. So for that, I'm putting Luka at number 1.
So for me, 5 was between 2 players, but it was Jaylen Brown or it was Kyrie Irving. I'm gonna go with Jaylen Brown, just because I've seen some moments in this game where he was he had to take over. He led the games. Like when I look back at some of the moments, again, you're right. We didn't pay much attention to the Celtics,
so I can't really put him in.
It's tough, but like when I was just looking at certain moments, certain clips, like he was efficient in some of these games. I'm looking at some of the stat lines. So I'm going number 5, Jaylen Brown. Number 4, Pascal Siakam. Right, like he was a big reason why they're at this point. Yes, he even though he wasn't like game 1 and 2 Milwaukee, he was still very steady, getting his points, leadership wise, everything there. So I think Pascal Siakam's number 4. Number 3 to 1 is probably it's the same as yours. Number 3, Jayson Tatum. Again, he did not have to do much. There were moments where in the Cleveland series where he did step up finally. And we'll see, does that continue on to the conference finals. Number 2, I went Anthony Edwards over Luka because Anthony Edwards has like that Game 7 performance as well. Like he had moments where he struggled a lot and scoring, right? The first Nuggets loss he had, I think Game 3, he wasn't the greatest. Then he followed up with a massive performance. So the inconsistency of the scoring wasn't, like that's the reason why. Luka, like I said, like Game 1, playing hobbled. Sorry, number 1, playing hobbled. And he's just getting his points. Yes, he might be inefficient as hell, but he's still playmaking. He's still rebounding. He's playing hustle defense when he needs to. He's bought in. And yeah, I think that's how it should be for me. I know you might have a disagreement with the Jaylen Brown one, but
I'm not disagreeing. I just feel like
I wanted to put Kyrie in there. I really did.
I think Kyrie has the edge. Jaylen Brown is my 6.
Kyrie was just like the patience thing.
I would say like my 3 honorable mentions will be Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Haliburton, and probably
Derek White.
Maybe a Derek White, maybe a Towns, or maybe a
Towns was actually up there,
or a McDaniel.
I was considering Towns as well in that one for the 5 spot.
I don't really disagree. Like Jaylen Brown, at the end of the day, he does deserve to it. Like I just didn't watch enough Celtics in this playoffs, just to comment on them. And I definitely do feel like Jayson Tatum has to be on the list. So I can't really say. Can't put 0 Celtics.
How does this change if you're saying overall just best players? Like if we're going random.
Overall,
still Luka 1. Does it go Tatum 2?
Yeah.
Then it goes Edwards.
It's Luka, Tatum, Edwards, then Kyrie, then probably Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Between him and Towns, probably.
I'll give it to Jaylen Brown.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that
we're not going to categorize that one. This last one's a fun one. We could work on it together if we want to. Yeah. This one, I just brought it up. We didn't plan this. The top 5 role players. You know how I was saying that Derek White? I have a list for him already.
Okay, yeah.
Like, who's the top 5 role players that are definitive role players? Like, no All-Star appearance.
So, essentially, this is a 3rd guy on the team.
Third or 4th guy, even. Like,
ooh, this is tough.
Is number 1 Derek White lock?
I think Derek White has to be number 1. Like, yes, he might not have done much in this playoff.
I think 1 and 2 is this.
I think White and McDaniels are 1.
That's what I'm saying. And then 3 might be PJ Washington.
Yeah.
On the top of my head.
Right? Yeah. I'll agree with that. Especially what Washington did in the. I'll probably go McDaniels 1 just because if you're looking at solely this playoff performance.
The impact because he had to go against the Suns and the.
Like he had to shut down Kevin Durant, and he had to go against Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr.
West, essentially
the best team in the NBA.
So you're going McDaniels 1? I'll agree with that. Like this is a collective list.
If it's in general, I'd probably Derek White number 1. But if it's like this playoffs, I'll probably give it to McDaniels. So
okay, I'll take that. Then Derek White's a 2.
Yeah.
And then PJ Washington's 3, or do you have anyone else in the Pacers side of things? Miles Turner, is he considered a role player to you?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, he hasn't had any All-Star appearances.
That's true, though.
He's a stretch big, rim protecting big. He has potential to be an All-Star, but I don't think he will ever get one. So I would consider.
So PJ Washington is 3. We'll confirm that.
So then Miles Turner is 4? Because Miles Turner had a really good playoffs.
Yeah.
To the point where people are thinking the fact that the Suns did not Suns matched the DeAndre Ayton thing. Because DeAndre Ayton was supposed to be a Pacer, remember?
Yeah.
And then they matched it, and then they didn't accept a trade for Miles Turner either.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll probably disgusted.
I'll give him 4. I want to throw in a cheeky Neesmith, just because he has gone against the
Nembhard even.
Nembhard as well. Like this, I feel like but I'm gonna go with him. I know I'm probably missing someone from the Mavs or any other team, Celtics and all these guys.
Derek Jones Jr.
That I feel like I'm missing him too. But I'm gonna give a special shout out to TJ McConnell.
No, he's on this. He's on
TJ McConnell.
Yes, he's on it. I might put him 3. He's putting him 3. Oh, no. We're TJ McConnell is number 3. He's the best backup point guard in the league.
Bro, he's been cooking.
No, TJ McConnell is hands down number 3 for me. Even higher if you want to argue.
He's been cooking. No, he's not higher.
Okay, so I'm putting him 3. And then, okay, so then it goes Jaden McDaniels, Derek White, TJ McConnell,
PJ Washington,
Miles Turner.
Yeah. I agree with that.
As soon as you said TJ McConnell.
TJ McConnell has to be on here.
Yes, TJ McConnell is.
I'm just thinking of the Pacers player, and I'm like,
they're filled with role players.
They're just filled with everyone, bro. Like, you could,
outside of the 2 stars, it's all role players.
You could throw in Neesmith, you could throw in Nemhard, you could throw Obi Toppin, who had, like, a few good performances. But out of the bunch, TJ McConnell has been the best.
Okay, so number 5, are you happy with Miles Turner, or do you want to give, like, Derek Jones Jr. or one of them?
Miles Turner's been pretty good, though. He has been good.
Like, just so Derek, it feels weird. I don't want to put him as a role player, but he is a role player.
But
he is a role player by definition.
Like, I feel like he is, like, he needs to be that guy in order for the Pacers to win as well.
True. But, like, he hasn't had any All-Star appearances, so you can't say he's an All-Star.
We can't.
Like, Jamal Murray, you could consider an All-Star. He got caliber.
Oh, yeah, no.
Miles Turner might never, ever get an All-Star. So that's
he might not.
Okay, so our list is Jaden McDaniels, Derek White, TJ McConnell, PJ Washington, and then Miles Turner. Or do you want to flip the last 2?
Nah, PJ Washington deserves the flowers.
Okay.
He did it.
And then we'll go with...
Then if we're commenting Miles Turner is not a role player, blah, blah, blah.
I think he is.
We have a replacement in Derek Jones Jr.
But no, I think he is a role player.
And then our 6th guy will be Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun exercise to do.
Yeah.
Because like I'm just looking at it, like we gotta give some role players some love.
No, I know.
It would have been easily Josh Hart if the Knicks went through.
100%.
But yeah, no. So that's our list. So we'll end it there. Once again, we like this video. Comment your thoughts on these rankings down below. We like to hear your rankings. How would you think it goes? A very opinionated list. Tried something different at the end here, just because everything is dwindling down. But make sure you guys subscribe, hit that noti bell. The next one, we promise, will be the NHL one. We're just waiting for the Canucks-Oilers Game 7 to finish to properly recap and preview the
So we're going to be recording the NHL one on Tuesday. And you could tell by your energy levels what will happen on Tuesday during the recording. Because Monday night, just that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Monday night.
So, as always, make sure you guys follow our socials, link down below. Audio listeners, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys rate, review, and download the podcast as well. Road to 1,000 continues. Once again, thank you for getting us to an opportunity where we're now YouTube partners. We just still got to figure out certain things. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will let you know once these perks and all that stuff are get to be going. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.